you brought up a good point, like checking in and having these meetings and talking about these topics, right? So how often do you guys meet as a team, and how do you kind of run those meetings and check-ins?
We have one rehab meeting a month with all of the rehab or all of our staff. And then we have one high performance team effect meeting a month where we look at these different topics. That was the one I was just talking about. Emotional contagion was our last topic. And then we have a one-on-one with every clinician each month as well. And then we also do, so those are uh, really built around performance and just getting feedback from them, and then and going through how the business is doing, if there's any concerns, any issues, checking in. And then we also do a knowledge session as well each month. So we, because one of the core values is growth, and just looking at how do we keep promoting growth internally. So we have that for our PTs, and then any of the other staff can join those as well. And yeah, so we're connecting on a regular basis. Then as needed, if people want to get together, we make ourselves available.
And I'm assuming your meetings aren't just you up front telling people this is how it is, this is what you're doing wrong, maybe you're doing something right, right? It's a conversation looking for feedback and input from them as well, right?
Absolutely. And one of the things when I was working on my doctorate on this is one of the things that high performing PT leaders said was that feedback is one of the things they just really want more of from their teams is feedback. And it wasn't just, we went into it thinking that this was about leaders providing feedback to their team frequently. And really, it was interesting finding was that the leaders that were at the top of their game saying they're doing so much to elicit feedback from their team members. And that's one thing that, it's hard at times because people don't want to complain or they feel like, well, somebody else is going to say something. And even though we have a great team, it's still sometimes it's like only teeth. And you're just like, come on, tell me what I'm doing wrong. Or your team, right? Like how can we be better? We want to be here for you. So
And that's a sign of a great leader. And that's what we talk about, that trickle down. People are going to feel that, and being open, because we talk about clarity and communication, right? And like the big word that comes up when I think of clarity are expectations, right? So here's what we expect. When I say we, like the business, this is what we expect for you as an employee, the role you're going to perform. Yes, you can have some metrics and numbers, but also there's an expectation of what, like when I was running my business, I as the owner, like what am I going to be doing for you? This is what you like. There needs to be that two-way expectation. So I remember like trying to solicit feedback, and it's probably not a scarier moment for an employee to sit and like in the office on the other side of the desk and be like, "So tell me, am I doing anything wrong? Like, you know, tell me why I suck." But so I mean, I tried those, but I also did anonymous online reviews. Basically, we do net promoters for within the team as well as with the patients. And I would have a list of topics. I would, open ended. It's not just like, "Am I a good boss?" Do you feel safe coming to talk to me? Things like that. But it was open ended questions like, you know, is there transparency within the leadership of the organization? Do you feel like you can bring problems to your manager or the owner? And we had these great questions. And I told people, like, this is anonymous. Like, if you want to put your name at the end, you can. And there's no way I could attract where it came from. Of course, the way people write and talk, you can tell. Man, I only had, I think, 25 employees at that point. But I think that was the most successful for me, was giving them a safe place to do it in their home. They knew it was anonymous, and hopefully they believed that it was going to be anonymous. And I got more information from that than even the one-on-ones. And then what I did is we had a team meeting after, and I put all the answers, and I made little charts and shared all the information with everyone. And like, okay, X amount of people feel that leadership could do better at these things, or X amount of people feel like we're doing okay here. And then we just had a fun meeting. We made it fun. I made fun of myself. I took the criticism well, and I thanked them, because like, you know, I need to improve to make the business better, and also to help you guys grow as a team. So if I'm not getting feedback and I just think I'm doing everything great, we're not going to be as successful, and you guys might not be as happy as you could potentially be. Now, on that point, I want to touch about this. I don't think this was on any of the questions, but early in my career, when I had an ego, I could not do that. Like, I had to get rid of my ego and realize, shit, like, it's not about me. Like, it's about them. So, let's talk about ego for a second.
Yeah,
what, what,
that's a big thing, and just having that growth mindset as a leader is, and I think, as we become more seasoned in our careers, we can handle it a little bit better, and it still can be tough though, because if somebody gives you some critical feedback that doesn't feel good, and you just have to go, okay, well, what can I learn from this? Or how can I be better? And even if you don't see it the same way, there's some, there's some truth in there somewhere. And so what's the learning piece of it? So that just that growth mindset is huge. And then always just being a learner. And even the ones that hurt the most, you gotta figure, okay, well, why does that hurt? Is it because I didn't identify with that, or you know he says, you're such a tyrant leader. And I'm like, oh my God, I feel like I'm so empathetic, considerate, and that hurts. But so, okay, well, say that. And, well, like you said too, we do the ENPS, and about every 6 weeks, just to try to get, we just started doing that this year. We'd always done informal ones. Now we're just doing an NPS, or the ENPS, to get, try to get data over time, and then some other more formal ones, or what you said too, to get illicit things that people may not feel comfortable with, and then making sure that we follow up on it. Because that was one that showed up in the research too, was that follow up is what builds trust in an organization even more than clarity. We always talk about clarity and transparency, uh, creating trust, that transparency from leadership, and really, what the research showed was that it's the follow up is where the gold is, and that's really where they're what people want to have trust in their leaders.
If you'd like to learn more about Strata PT and see how our EMR and RCM works, head over to stratapt.com to book a demo.